The learning goal today is I can use function notation to evaluate functions for given inputs and understand that a function maps a domain value to a range value. So the last couple of days, we've been determining whether something is a function. Now we're going to know that this is a function, and we're going to use function notation to evaluate these. Okay, so first thought is remember that a function is a machine. So it's kind of like a pop machine. If you click the Diet Coke button, you expect a Diet Coke out. Okay, so meaning every time I click the Diet Coke button, I know what's going to happen. A Diet Coke is going to come out. If I click the Sprite button, the input is the button that says Sprite, and the output is I get a bottle of Sprite. So with that in mind, for the function, what we do is we first, we have the f. So this part right here, it's the name of the function. So this could be any letter. Most of the time you'll see F since it stands for function, but sometimes it'll be G, sometimes it'll be H, and honestly, it could be any letter in the world. In general, it's never X because a lot of times you use X plugging it in. Okay, so the next part is this X that's right here. So this X stands for what you're inputting. So this is like the Diet Coke button that I'm clicking. Okay, and then the last part, this part right here is called the function. Okay, it is the function, and that's what it's actually doing. So you're putting the input in, and the machine is working. So the function is the working of the machine. And then altogether, this f of x altogether gives you the output. So the x is the input, but the f of x altogether is actually the output. So a lot of times you'll see this referred to as y. So some notes to remember. So we're over here on notes to remember, and I want you to mark down some of this stuff. So every single input and corresponding output gives you the ordered pairs that will produce the graph of the function. So if you plugged in every single input known to man and you graphed them all, you would get the graph of the function. And this right here is so important. The graph of the function is the set of all solutions plotted in the coordinate plane. So what that means is that if the graph shows every single solution. So I'm going to write that because I think you guys should write that too. It's very important. So the graph shows, let's get a pen. So the graph shows every solution. So if you ever wanted to see every solution for a function, you would graph it. So the graph shows every solution. Okay, and write that below the important notes. Okay, every single solution, every time. Okay, so let's get into using function notation. So before we begin, we're going to grab an orange alert sticker. Okay, this is something important that I don't want you to forget. So please get an orange alert sticker or grab one from your desk. So we are going to put that orange alert sticker right over top of the alert sign. Okay, and that is orange on the inside. So I'm going to color it real fast orange. If I can get it to color orange. Okay, so there's our orange alert sticker. Now, what I want you guys to write on here is I want you to be smarter than your calculator. Be smarter than your calculator. Actually, I'm going to type this so you can read it. Okay, so be smarter than your calculator. Okay, always put the input in parentheses. Oh, I don't like the way that does that. Parentheses. Okay, your calculator will sometimes read your input not in parentheses, and it'll shoot out the wrong answer. Okay, so you always need to put the input in parentheses. So if I were to set up the first problem, the f tells me the name of the function, so it's telling me that I'm using the f one. And instead of x, do you guys see what I have this time? So normally there is an x in the middle, but this time I have a 3. So what that means is that I'm going to write my function, okay, but instead of putting an x, so I've got an x right here, instead of doing the x, I'm going to put a 3 in the place. Okay, instead of putting the X, oops, I'm going to do a 3. Okay, but everything else is business as normal. Okay, and then I'm going to just take my calculator and I'm going to evaluate this. So I'm just literally going to plug it in and see what I get. Okay, I'm going to show you one more time. So this one, it says G. Okay, so do you guys see that G? So that means I'm going to use the G one now. So I've got -2. Oh, here's X. So I got to take out the X and I'm going to put parentheses. And this time I've got 3 as well. So I'm going to plug a 3 in there. So I've got 3. And then I just keep going. The next part I have is +1. So plug that in your calculator and see what you get. So that was a 3 right there because that was what the input said to do. Okay, your job is to finish this practice for evaluating function notation. Please come talk to me if you have questions. And we are going to, once you're all the way done evaluating the functions, please glue it on pages 32 and 33. It's really important that you shove this paper all the way down in the crack so it stays.